Chapter 7. The house looked like it could have been built in the Mughal period. In front was a small garden with a statue of Lord Buddha. The garden was so peaceful I felt like chanting Om Mani Padme Hum. I stopped in front of the statue and looked into Buddha's eye. They were beautiful enough to cast spells. The statue must have been the work of a master sculptor. Artists live on a higher plane. They create a separate world, another reality. They conjure characters from their minds. I wondered what the real Buddha had looked like. This one looked into my eyes with great compassion. If I ever made a Buddha, I'd make its eye quite different. The eyes of my Buddha would be crowded with illusions. But I can't make a Buddha, and I won't. I opened a small, dilapidated door and went into the house. Everything was silent. I moved with quiet, cat-like steps, climbing the stairs in semi-darkness. On the first floor, I found my Shangri-La, a capacious sitting room lined with books. There were so many books, you'd need a catalog to find the one you wanted. In one corner of the room sat an old, bespectacled woman. "Namaste, Hajurama," I said. She looked up and smiled sweetly. Her hair was white and her cheeks were wrinkled. "I was told I could find old books here," I said. "I don't know," she said. "Feel free to look around." She was rolling cotton batti for worship. An antique radio sat on the table in front of her. It looked like one of the radios that had been brought to Kathmandu during the Second World War. There was an equally antique telephone beside it. I felt like I'd come to a museum. Books and history, geography, culture, philosophy, politics, and literature were preserved lovingly on the shelves. As I looked through them, the old woman switched on the lights and came up to me. "I'm an artist," I said. "I'm looking for a book on ancient Nepal. In fact, I was looking for a book about the balance of color and light in traditional Nepali art. I wanted to examine the relationship between the color of my gallery walls and the paintings hanging on them. I wanted to understand how the quality and intensity of light could change a painting. I didn't know if anyone had actually written about the dynamics of color in Nepali art, but someone had given me the address of this private library and it was worth a try. "Most of these books look old," the old woman said. I said, "The libraries in this city seem to have every book except the one you want. I suppose that's why people come here." "Your collection is excellent," I said. She smiled. "I wouldn't know that everyone says so." "I wouldn't know, but everyone says so." I picked up a book that didn't have a cover and leafed through it. The old woman went and turned on a cassette player. A song drifted through the room. It rained heavily on a monsoon night. The maize leaves played music in the field. The book I had picked up was the Diary of an Englishman. The page, dated 17 July 1957, said, "I took a Dakota plane from Patna to Kathmandu. As it came into the Kathmandu valley, I saw a mountain peak. It was a clear day and visibility was perfect. It was my first time in Kathmandu and its beauty overwhelmed me. I saw the green valley surrounded by hills. In the middle of the valley was a dense settlement. The rest of the valley was covered with greenery. It was like a peaceful dream. After I checked in at the Royal Hotel, I discovered that there was no other hotel in the valley. Not even another restaurant. At the 80 bar, I had a long conversation with the hotel owner, Boris Lysianovich, a Russian citizen. He explained the lifestyle, culture and customs of the place. I learned that the elite of Kathmandu occasionally came to the hotel for dinner. There weren't many. Boris surprised me by counting them on his finger. He also told me that everyone could name the people who had telephones in their homes. Boris introduced me to some Sherpas. I asked them about the mountain I had seen from the plane, but they couldn't identify it. Maybe I didn't describe it well enough. They told me foreigners had started coming only 5 years ago. Naturally, no one knew the names and heights of all the peaks. They told me to come back next year and they would take me to the mountain I had seen. The airport existed even before roads were built. People got on planes before they boarded buses. I am beginning to believe there are more temples here than houses and more gods than people. At night, hymns being sung far away can be heard from the hotel window, while the rest of Kathmandu is completely silent. I feel as if I am in a peaceful temple where worshippers sing hymns through the night, lighting oil lamps, seeing mountains peaks in an encounter with gods. Above stand the snow-capped peaks and below live these God-fearing people singing hymns through the night. The old woman come back, offering me a cup of tea. You shouldn't have gone to trouble, I said. She smiled. It's not trouble, Ulu. Isn't anyone else at home? I asked. I have got a maid. My granddaughter's out now. Granddaughter? Yes. When she's at home, she's always reading, she said. And when she goes out, you never know when she's coming back. And your son? He lives with his wife in America. Have you been there? Who would go to the country where they eat beef? So you are alone here. Well, the gods are here and so are the temples. Don't you feel bored? People like you come here to read, she said. Some are like my sons, some like my grandsons. I understand. If you feel close to people, you don't feel lonely. Oh, how's the tea? It's good. You are just saying that to please me. No, I really mean it. You like it because it's sweet. It's perfect. How many children do you have? I'm not married. Oh, and you? I asked. I have got a son, a daughter-in-law, and a granddaughter. An ideal family. But what's the point when I hardly see them? Oh, I hope you don't intend to go to America, she asked. You just said the gods and temples are here, didn't you? So you also go to temples, she said. You see, Hazurama, I said, avoiding the subject. I am an artist. For a Nepali artist like me, the inspiration, subjects and colors of my work all come from this place. You sound like my granddaughter, she said, beaming. Oh, I asked. Is she an artist too? I don't know. She's always carrying a camera. Yes? Once she filmed me and I saw myself on television. You were on television? No. It's something you put into something and a picture appears. I understand. Carry on reading, she said. I am just prattling on. On the contrary, I said. What you say is interesting. I am enjoying our conversation. She smiled. You are just being polite. No, I mean it, I said. Thank you. You have brightened my day. And you are beautiful as well, I said. I can only imagine how you looked when you were young. Oh, I don't know that I was beautiful, and even if I was, I don't have any photographs to prove it. There were no cameras in my days. I understand. Have you ever seen my granddaughter? No, I said. Why do you ask? I think she would like me when I was young. She's like me when I was young. Well, she is your granddaughter. It's more than just her physical appearance. She even behaves the way I did. That must make you happy. Of course, she said. Her parents keep pressuring her to go back to America, but she are determined to stay here. How could she leave a grandmother like you? No, it's not because of me. She says this is her country. She wants to work here. She is where she belongs. With that, the old woman started rolling butty again. I wandered through the house, moving from room to room. The floors were wooden and the bricks of the walls seemed to belong to another age. There were things of beauty everywhere. Small statues of gods sat in niches in the walls with paintings of photos hanging above them. The house inner room were wonderfully peaceful. None of the doors was locked. I wandered into bedroom with clean white sheets on the beds. Elegant lamps stood on mahogany tables. I felt as if I had gone back in time. The whole house felt as if it had come from another era. It felt as though some Englishman nostalgic for Victorian times had decorated it, but the amenities were modern. I could have wandered for hours just looking at the decor. The carved wooden doors and windows filled me with wonder at the skilled hands which had created them. Then I looked out of the window. Outside was the chaotic clutter of an unplanned concrete city. It hurt my eyes. I returned to the drawing room and found the old woman rewinding the cassette tape. She played the same song again. It rained heavily on a monsoon night. The maize leaves played music in the field. I said, "You really love that song, don't you?" "It reminds me of the old days," she said. "It takes you back?" "Yes, I used to dance to that song when I was young." "How did you dance? I'd love to see." She laughed. "Oh, I am too old for that now." "Why don't you give it a try?" "Old men like me don't dance." "Why not? Who says so?" "Is it written in religious texts?" I asked. "The girls in the walls might laugh." "Well, I'd love to hear the gods laughing." "Do you really think gods laugh?" she said. "I mean, I would look ridiculous," I insisted. "But you yourself are like a goddess, so what are you afraid of?" "Do you know something? My name is actually Devi." "A divine coincidence. A priest gave me that name." "Well," I said, "he must have been a wise priest. That explains why I feel I am in the presence of the divine," she said. "I wonder when I'll enter the house of the real Devi." "To me, you are the real Devi," I said, "so I have come to the goddess's house first." "Smarty," she laughed. "And I am stubborn as well," I said. "I won't leave until I see you dance." "You are just as stubborn as my granddaughter," she said. "And you just said she's like you." The grandmother stood up. She rewound the cassette tape and played the same song again. Then, putting aside her walking stick, she danced, her body suddenly as light as an alpine flower. Her arms moved like leaves dancing to the music of the wind. Reaching out, she pulled me to her and tried to make me dance as well. I tried to copy her steps but couldn't keep up and felt embarrassed to be so clumsy. She was like a moth dancing round a light. Loud laughter interrupted our dancing. It was PALPASA standing in the doorway watching us. She was obviously surprised and delighted to see me there. I myself was amazed to see her after so many months. I had come straight to her doorstep. Having been caught dancing, her grandmother became as shy and embarrassed as a child. She hid her eyes behind her hands like a little girl ashamed at being exposed through a tear in her dress.